I can't tell you what it is. That's the fun of it. But I'm glad you're here. What it is, your guess is as good as mine. Aladdin's annex in the Magic City. No one's ever seen this before. This is absolutely a secret. I won't even tell you where it is. We don't use the word museum because that's antediluvian. New York can have a museum, Paris, Moscow, but Miami's a little young for a museum, a house of the muses. So here they take bits and pieces and present them as narratives. Curiosities, I mean, look at the feet of this chair. They look like wooden shoes. If you want to know what it is, it's my autobiography. This, to me, is the core, because I like the informality of it and the fact that it isn't orchestrated and documented. It's material culture. I mean, that's the new identity for this sort of collection. It's what man and woman, what they make. And we believe that what they make identifies what they are. And I believe that what I collected is what I am. It's what man and woman have made in the period 1885 to 1945. And it's mad because it collects, the collection incorporates everything possible that man makes, including a railroad car or a building or an interior or bits and pieces of roads, the wall in Berlin, you name it. It aims to show forms that we're familiar with, made by us, to explain, if you would, human behavior. It's a museum about human motivation and human behavior read through the language of objects. We're now, you know, streamlined because of the economy has influenced my ambition. And there were the imperial days of the collection in which there was no limit. We brought railroad cars from Italy and rooms from the Netherlands and different places. Of course, that was short-lived, but luckily we had collected enough to satisfy study and research for generations. Now we're more scaled down, but we still go on as best we can. People do ask me if I have any favorites, and I can't have any favorites and don't have any favorites because it's a puzzle. You can't have a favorite piece in a myriad or in a kaleidoscope, otherwise you break up the pattern totally. So it's like a gigantic puzzle, and no one piece has any more value than another. It's not the single object, it's the narrative that a collection of objects make. Any object shouldn't, you can admire it if you will, and there's some objects here which are highly admirable, but the idea was that this is a vocabulary, and that students and the faculty and the staff of the Wolfsonian, the curatorial staff, would make narratives out of this language. They would use this as the language of the exhibition. We're not a museum. I mean, this is actually storytelling, or if you will, what I like to think, which is a little pretentious, but I think putting history right. Because if you study this material, you'll come closer to reality of the not too distant past than you will if you read about it or if you hear stories about it. Here, the object and the narrative of the object is undeniable.